Tips to drawing people. First off, we are not stick figures. We have form. So when you take a stick figure and you add in form, you're adding in areas of the body that humans have, like fingers, a torso, a neck. That's the major difference between a stick figure and a frame. So what I have now is the frame of a person, but it's kind of flat. It doesn't really bring much. And I'm practicing those proportions, but it's okay. The best way to draw a figure is to look at an example. So for this example, I've chosen this girl with the balloons and she's jumping. It's a very what we call dynamic pose. The person is in the air, they're smiling, their head is at a not direct angle. It's a really neat picture. Now, because of the canvas size I have, I'm limited in space here, so I'm only going to draw up until the edges of the paper, which is going to, cut out the balloons. You're only going to see the real person and only part of it. And you can see how I'm refining my sketch. If you were to do this on paper and pencil, it's the same process. You draw however many lines you need to find those hidden shapes. You shade in the areas where you see a change in light. So part of her shirt's white, part of her shirt's gray. Part of her blue jeans are dark blue and part of them are a light blue. You find those shaded areas and you shade them in on your sketch. Now I'm doing this digitally, so I have the advantage of being able to draw right over the top and change the opacity. If I was going to do this step, which would be the inking step on paper, I would first take an eraser, preferably a kneaded eraser, and I would roll it over the paper or lightly erase the pencil underneath so that it's just barely visible. And then taking a pen or the same pencil with darker lines and more pressure, I would draw in the lines I want to keep, the lines that look the best for my drawing. So that's where you take a sketch and turn it into what we call line art. So this is that contour line, the outline of something. I've added in the most basic details, but not a lot else. The next step from here for simple figure drawings would be to add color. So I'd finish erasing whatever was left of the sketch, and I would come in with some sort of coloring medium. So for the purposes of blending and getting that shading, if you're going to color your work, I highly recommend using colored pencil. They are the most forgiving when you're trying to get a dark blue and a light blue, or a dark red and a light red. Markers work, but they bleed through paper. So if you're not using a heavy weighted paper, you're going to have a lot of bleed through, so make sure you protect your tables. On this one, I changed the color of her shirt because I want it to be purple, which was, artist choice. You're able to change those little details. You can make her hair any style or color you wanted. I'm sticking to the picture so you guys have a better reference. And there's my shading, dark versus light. In an ideal world, I wouldn't have blocks of color, dark and light color. I would have it what we call grade. So now I'm using the blending tool to show you what that might look like. So if I was doing this on paper, I would do a light color on one side, the dark color on the other, and then a medium color in the middle to mix them. So you use 3 tones, light, medium, and dark when shading in this example. You don't have to do that every time. 2 colors is plenty. If you like the blocky look, go for it. And people all by themselves can be a little bit, boring. And so for this one, I'm going to show you how I made a really super simple background. The picture had a yellow tint, so I first went in with a yellow and then colored over it with a blue and then the dark ground color in the background. I'm not trying to make it perfect, I just want the idea, so these are really quick lines, and again, 3 colors, a dark yellow, a medium yellow, and a light yellow. Blending those colors out. Adding in white where it's needed. You can achieve that by erasing colored pencil. You can also go in with a correction pen, like a whiteout pen. And then the last step I'm going to show you guys is cropping. So this is where if you have a piece of paper and you did a really good job, you could put a box around it in a sketchbook, or you can cut it out, and there's my figure drawing. I hope you guys had fun. I hope this was informative, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So have fun with your figure drawings and see what you can create. Bye, guys.